We're back for Your Ears Only. I'm David Alpern.
I'm Melissa Axelberth with a quote from the news. Love, peace, and soul. That was the eloquent sign-off by Don Cornelius after each installment of his long-running Soul Train TV show that from the early 1970s gave the country a window on black music, culture, and style. Cornelius committed suicide at the age of 75 after recent years of spousal abuse charges and a difficult divorce. Now this.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight.
February, the month of romance. And how better to kick it off than with a classic from romance crooner Steve Tyrell, The Way You Look Tonight. His version from the movie remake of Father of the Bride was the song Chelsea Clinton picked for the first dance at her wedding in 2010. And that choice led to his new CD that includes it, I'll Take Romance. It's out this week.
The Grammy Award-winning vocalist has made huge contributions to the music industry as an artist, producer, songwriter, music supervisor, and performer. He's produced hits for Grammy Award-winning artists, produced music and sung for television and movies. He's in his 7th year as a Christmas season fixture at New York City's Cafe Carlyle, where he replaced the late legendary Bobby Short. And he's here with us today for Your Ears Only to talk about all that and his new CD. Steve Tyrell, welcome to our show.
Thrilled to be on.
Start by telling us how Chelsea Clinton's first wedding dance to your version of The Way You Look Tonight that led to the new CD in this interview.
Last year, I got a call in my suite to come down early, and usually when that happens, there's somebody special there, you know.
This is at the Carlyle.
At the Cafe Carlyle, right. The maitre d' Tony called me, said, Steve, come down now. And I said, okay. And I was anxious to see who it was, and I walked in the back door of the Carlyle, of the cafe. And there was President Clinton, Chelsea, and Secretary of State Mrs. Clinton, and Chelsea's father-in-law, I think, was there. And he went on to tell me that he had brought Chelsea because that they chose that song, my version of that song, to have their first dance. And somehow in the conversation, he said, well, you should make a wedding album or something like that. And I said, well, that's why you were the president, and I sing in nightclubs. That's a good idea. The next day, I called the record company on Christmas Eve and told her I had just signed with Concord, and I told the head of the company, John Burke, I said, yeah, Mr. Clinton dropped by last night, like he comes over every week or something, and said that he danced with Chelsea to that, The Way You Look Tonight, and my version, and maybe we should make a wedding album and market it to the wedding industry, because my songs have been used so much. And the head of the record company said, that's a great idea.
Well, let's go back to your first great ideas. How did you first get involved in music?
Well, I started as a singer in a band in high school, and I made records, local records in Houston, where I grew up. And some of them were hits. They were like singles, you know, and then they'd get picked up nationally. And I got to know Florence Greenberg and Jerry Wexler and Ahmet Ertegun and people like that when I was still in high school. And it led to me getting a job offer to come to New York right out of high school and go to work for Scepter Records. And at that time, Dionne Warwick, it was a great, unbelievable opportunity, but they had Dionne Warwick, Burt Bacharach, and Hal David. I brought B.J. Thomas with me from Texas.
What keeps bringing you and others back to music of the 30s, 40s, 50s?
Well, I discovered it, when I first started singing, the Great American Songbook had made a transition into artists like Etta James and Ray Charles and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, Try a Little Tenderness. And those artists influenced me the most because they were the ones that were doing it when I started singing. And a lot of my buddies, like Rod Stewart, he loved Sam Cooke. A lot of the English guys loved the R&B singers, rhythm and blues singers. So I got into the Great American Songbook from those people. And I was working on Father of the Bride, and I asked the director what they wanted what kind of music they wanted at their reception, and they didn't know because it could have been like a disco band. It could have been anything. It was up to the director and the creator of the movies. But they did know that they loved the song The Way You Look Tonight. They loved those words of Dorothy Fields. Someday when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. They love those words over the scene when Steve Martin walks in and sees his daughter dancing with her new husband for the first time. And they wanted those words. And Frank Sinatra's version is swinging, you know? And they love the words, but they wanted it to be a little more sentimental, the arrangement, because they wanted it to grab your heart. And so I went in as if I was working for the father of the bride, and he had given me that instructions, and we came up, Bob Mann and I, with this arrangement of The Way You Look Tonight. And I played it for them at the set. And I sang it on the demo for them to hear how it was going to go. And they said, "Who is that guy singing?" I said, "Well, that's me." And they said, "Man, you got to be in the movie." So that was it. And that brought me back to the Great American Songbook. I was really the first standard I had ever sung, in since I was in high school singing At Last and stuff like that, you know.
Well, welcome back. Grammy Award-winning and Emmy-nominated music maker Steve Tyrell. His new CD, I'll Take Romance, from Concord Records, is out this week. Here's some of the title track with Judith Hill.
I'll take romance.
I'll take romance.
Romance, romance, sweet romance.
And this has been For Your Ears Only.